Hi, I'm Raven Wind.
I'm Rain.
You're listening to the Feather and Bone podcast. Two witches talking about everything witchy and nothing at all. And today, we're eating some of my cheesy taco dip with chips. So, if you hear just random silences, the crunching of chips, that's what it is. This dip is so delicious. What's that ASMR? Have you seen that on YouTube yet?
No, I don't watch YouTube.
Oh, that's right. So, like, basically, they get these, like, really high-powered microphones, and people eat and make sounds and, like, whisper, and people fucking love listening to it. It's just like the pimple popping videos that,
I couldn't handle the crunching, talking noise.
Yeah.
I don't like hearing people eat.
Like with ASMR, they'll whisper really low into the microphone, and that's all you hear. And then like there'll be sounds of them eating.
Ew.
Yeah, it's a thing.
Like normal eating sounds don't bother me.
Yeah.
It's when the people are like mouth breathers and
Oh,
eating
yeah.
at the same time.
There's this thing called sea grapes, and I guess it's like a type of seaweed. But they have these little, like hard grape looking, like, it almost looks like elderberries, but of the sea. And, they're crunchy. So like, there's all kinds of videos of women just shoving those sea grapes in their mouth and like the sound of it.
Why?
I don't know. It's just a thing.
Do people like masturbate to it or something?
Well, you can masturbate. There's someone out there that'll masturbate to everything.
Oh, speaking of that.
Of masturbating?
Yeah. I had a reading come in last night.
Okay.
I think it's the best question I've gotten yet. Person wanted to know if their former boss, in their will, had left them their mannequin dressed like a nun that has a sex hole in it. Can't make this shit up.
So what did the card say?
I can't read that. You know that. I just made something up.
We love it when people they ask we're like am I pregnant? Bitch, go to CVS. Get a goddamn pregnancy test. Don't spend like fucking $5 a minute to ask someone that's only going to be able to tell you 50-50 anyway.
Mm-hmm.
You know, anyway. So today we're going to continue with our series for October, Halloween, Samhain, like whatever you want to call it. Well, you have to call it October because that's the month. I mean,
I thought it was going to be Jesus Ween.
Oh my God, I saw that.
Did you like my post?
I went to the website. It doesn't exist. So I don't know if they couldn't keep up Jesus Ween. If Jesus Ween had a hard time sticking around.
When I saw that, I thought of like a titty, trying to get Jesus off a titty.
See, I thought wiener. Like Jesus wieners. Of course, you do like the wiener of Christ.
What?
You going to tell him what the
Nope.
wiener of Christ is?
Nope.
Can I?
I was just going to let him sit there.
Oh, we'll just leave it. We'll let you guys guess. Like, go on go on Facebook.
Anybody that knows me, just message me and ask me. And I'll tell you.
Anyway. The wiener of Christ.
I know I'm going to get a couple messages on that one.
Yeah. But we're going to continue with the theme. I have a chip in my mouth.
Just do it.
At least it's a chip.
Just eat it.
If I had a dick in my mouth, it'd be a little awkward since you're here.
I would not watch you give a blowjob.
I wouldn't want you to.
No.
Okay.
Wait, what's that movie?
Now that we're clear on that.
What's that movie? I want to watch it again. It's so funny. It's got Christina Applegate, Cameron Diaz, and that chick Selma Blair in it. And the girl Selma Blair is giving the guy a blowjob.
I don't know. I haven't seen it.
He has his dick pierced and it gets stuck in her fucking throat.
Oh, God.
And there's like the fire department, all the neighbors. There's a whole crowd of people standing around her trying to help her get this dick out of her throat.
That's funny.
It really is.
That's great. So, keeping with the theme, today we're going to talk about mysterious places. Now, it can be like mysterious because of hauntings, mysterious because of things that have happened there, a little bit of both. So that's what this one will be about. And then the next one, we're going to talk about, like West Virginia hauntings and ghosts and stuff. So,
I'll tell you what's haunted.
My kitchen, apparently, because you saw my fucking trash can lid moving on its own.
My pussy's haunted.
So it got the ghost of Dick's past.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
If I open my legs right now,
Yeah.
it might moan.
First, we're going to talk about. I'm just like moving along.
Keep going. I'm going to get too gross.
Oh my gosh, is it still recording? Every now and then this happens, guys, and I freak out because I'm not sure. Yeah, we're recording. Okay.
I was going to say, I'm not going to say my pussy's haunted twice.
Yeah. So first we're going to talk about H.H. Holmes and his murder castle. So one of history's most infamous serial killers was H.H. Holmes. He came to Chicago in 1886, leaving behind more than one previous life. He was born Herman Webster Mudgett, Mudgett.
That shit right there is why he's a serial killer.
Yeah. It's like, don't call me Herman.
Okay, Mr. Mugget.
Yeah, Mr. Mugget. Previous scandals give him good reason to change his name.
Wait. He could have been like, I'm French, it's Muguet.
Muguet. That's funny. That's a private joke, but that's funny. I won't tell y'all why that's so funny. Trust me.
You're like, just trust me.
That's fucking funny. Anyway, when he was in college, he worked in the anatomy lab and he mutilated cadavers to defraud life insurance companies. Or when he was the last person to have been seen with a missing little boy in New York. Or when he worked as a pharmacist in Philadelphia and a young customer died after taking pills he had provided. So he's left more than one identity behind.
Do you want me to say what I know about it before?
You can, whenever you want to chime in.
I'll wait.
Okay. Mugget skipped town after all of these incidents and eventually became Henry Howard Holmes, who soon after his arrival in the Windy City got a job in a drugstore on 63rd Street, using his knowledge of his medicine and ability to charm everyone he met to secure the position. He was fashionable, bright, and likable. And, that's what they say that about, like, almost all.
You just described me. Does that mean?
Yeah, you're a serial killer.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that describes a lot of serial killers. Like, that's how they lure people to them, I don't know how the fucking clown did it. John Wayne Gacy.
I never read about
the killer clown. He one, I'm not going up to a clown. And then, like, when he wasn't a clown, like, he was just awkward as fuck. He wasn't like a charmer like Bundy. So I don't get it. Anyway. But he was so charming that at one point in his life, he was married to 3 unknowing women at the same time.
That sounds like my first husband.
Yeah.
He was engaged to 2 other women while we were married.
And he moved one in, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
He was an asshole.
He was an asshole.
And you had no choice but to stay. Because you had a baby.
It's okay.
You had a kid to live with. Or take care of.
It's all right.
Anyway. In 1887, he bought the empty lot across from the street from the store where he worked and began construction on a 3-story building, which he said would be used for apartments and shops. The structure was ugly and large, containing more than 100 rooms and stretching for an entire block. That is pretty fucking big.
Yes.
I mean, that's pretty fucking big. For his mansion, H.H. Holmes planned for the first floor to contain an entire block of storefronts he would be able to rent out to the flood of new businesses opening in the city. The third floor would contain apartments for the growing population of the city, looking to make it big in the Windy City.
The Witty City?
The Witty City. Some of whom would become Holmes' victims. So on the first floor, he was like shops and stuff like that. And then the third floor would be apartments. Those victims that got to see the second floor, and especially the unlucky ones that made it into the basement, which hid the elaborate horrors for which H.H. Holmes' house is now famous. So the second floor was like his murder floor. Mm-hmm. And then the basement was where he would mutilate and...
Didn't he have like a chute where he would just drop them down?
Yeah. Mm. Yeah. Holmes switched builders and architects frequently throughout the building's construction, so no one involved was able to realize the gruesome end goal of all the odd parts. So he would constantly change out, the people working on it, so no one but him knew the secrets of the building. The castle, they called it a castle because it was so fucking huge. The castle was completed in 1892. you think,
I just thought of something.
It was completed in 1892, and by 1894, police would be exploring its winding passages while Holmes sat behind bars. At first, police were very confused at first when they got in there and started looking around. There was hinged walls and false partitions. Some rooms had 5 doors, and others had none. Secret, airless chambers hid underneath floorboards, and iron plate-lined walls stifled all sound.
How do they know they were airless?
I guess the way they would seal. I don't know.
Okay.
I wasn't a cop back then. So I don't know. I did investigate it. Holmes' own apartment had a trap door in the bathroom which opened to reveal a staircase which led to a windowless cubicle. In the cubicle, there was a large chute that tunneled through to the basement. One notable room was lined with gas fixtures. Here, Holmes would seal his victors. Jesus fucking Christ. He would seal his victims in, flip a switch, and he would wait in the room next door, for them to like asphyxiate from the gas. And then he would throw them down the chute to the basement. All of the doors and some of the steps were connected to an intricate alarm system. Whenever someone stepped into the hall or headed downstairs, a buzzer sounded in Holmes's bedroom. The first clue about the bizarre floor plan's true purpose came to the cops in a pile of bones. Most of them were animals, but some of them were human, so small they had to have belonged to a child, no more than 6 or 7 years old. He didn't discriminate in who he killed. Like, he was going to kill anyone he could. When they descended into the cellar, the scope of the building's hidden horrors had been revealed. Mm-hmm. Beside a blood-covered operating table, they found a woman's blood-soaked clothes. Another surgical surface was nearby, along with a crematory and an array of medical tools, a bizarre torture device, and shells of disintegrating acids. So, like the basement...
So how do you store a disintegrating acid?
Probably in glass. Because acid doesn't eat through everything. I'd say glass. That would be mine.
Would you like me to research it?
Sure. How do you store disintegrating acid? Why not? Holmes's fascination with dead bodies had lasted long past college, as had his surgical skills. After dropping his victims down through the chutes, now there was multiple chutes, so basically he would rent out apartments on the 3rd floor, but that 3rd floor was booby trapped so that he would know where they were moving around and stuff. And there was even trap doors on the 3rd floor that would drop them into the 2nd floor. And that 2nd floor was where he played with them before he killed them. He would torture them, and they would try to find their way out, and it's very confusing. There are steps that didn't go anywhere.
I typed that in, and the first thing I got was, can acid dissolve a body?
Yes, it can. That's what Holmes did. Anyway. After dropping his victims down through the chutes, he would dissect them, clean them, and sell the organs or skeletons to medical institutions or on the black market. Though the mansion didn't look inviting in the least, it's unlikely that any of the victims were dragged into its depths. They entered of their own accord, likely enchanted by the owner's flattery and apparent, station in the community.
Well, that's how I lure my victims into my house.
Yeah.
I flatter them.
No one comes in my house but you.
Should I be afraid?
Anyway.
If anybody's going to murder me in your house, it's this cat right here.
Yeah, Topera.
She's sitting here staring at me over the edge of the couch.
Hey, she likes corn chips.
Want me to give her one?
No.
You won't let her have a courtship?
No, the salt's bad for her. Anyway, so some of his victims were actually his employees. During his 2 short years in the castle, Holmes hired more than 150 women to work as his stenographers. A few of those were known to be his mistresses as well. Most of them came from wealthy families, and some of them never saw those families again. As a city...
Dun, dun, dun.
Is she going through your purse again?
Yeah.
She always does that. She's like, let me see what you got in here.
Bitch.
She
always calls me a bitch.
Yeah. As a city on the rise and centrally located nationally, thanks to its railway hub, there was a fresh flow of people coming in and out of Holmes' murder mansion. So, obviously, he didn't kill every single person that went in there, but it's hard for them to really know how many he killed because of just the transient nature of most of the people coming in and out of there at the time. Despite the well-connected women who went missing under his employment, suspicions of murder, that wasn't what actually ended up getting him caught. People came and go all the time in the big city, often without notice, so the disappearance of the young women working under Holmes could always be excused as young women moving on or heading back home. Rather, it was theft and financial schemes gone wrong that caused his arrest in Boston on November 17th, 1894. After decades of criminal activity, Holmes was behind bars. While in jail, connections between him and at least one murder had been revealed. And a pile of financial charges, the pile of financial charges that they originally brought him in on ended up being obscured and kind of buried underneath the numerous murder charges that came after. He actually boasted that he committed at least 27 murders. He gave 3 different confessions while he was imprisoned, and each one of those confessions had a contradicting number.
Anyone know what I know?
What do you know?
I know that he went over and visited Europe for a time.
Mm-hmm.
And while he was in Europe, in that area, is when the Jack the Ripper murders happened.
Yes.
And then when he went back to the States, the murders stopped, and they never caught Jack the Ripper.
Yeah.
So they were looking at sketches and shit of him and comparing it to the case here in the States, and they think he was Jack the Ripper.
Yeah. And that's the FBI that thinks that.
Mm-hmm. I'm not just making this shit up, people.
Yeah, that's not some wackadoodle on the internet. Like, that's fucking FBI.
See, I held it in until a good part.
Yeah, and I actually found some information, because I didn't know that until you mentioned to me on the phone.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I didn't know that.
Oh, you looked it up?
Yeah. Of course I looked it up.
You're like, holy shit, Reed knew something.
Yeah. And I'm looking at you like, of course I looked it up. So, because he was a businessman, he actually did leave a trail of business documents, which allowed the FBI to chart his movements.
Yeah.
Except, and that's in the United States, except between 1888 and 1889. And that's when the paper trail goes completely silent here in the States. And that actually coincided with the time frames of the Ripper killings in London.
Yep.
So that's what kind of led them to believe that it was him. They did find one ship log that an individual by the name of H. Holmes was a passenger who sailed from the UK to the US shortly after the Ripper killings ended. So, to me, that's as close as they're ever going to get to solving the Ripper murders.
I think it was him. It makes sense to me.
Yeah.
If you actually watch the documentary on it,
yeah,
it all completely adds up.
Yeah. The only way that they will ever be completely sure of who was Jack the Ripper is if they found his fucking journal. And it's like, here I am. This is my real name. You call me Jack the Ripper. This is what I did to the people. This is how I did it. You're not going to get any closer to solving that crime than that it was H.H. Holmes.
And he's like, never mind.
No, go ahead.
Nope. I'll save it for later.
Okay. The true amount of victims was impossible to actually prove, because the mansion was specifically equipped for Holmes to disintegrate leftover body parts in acid baths, or to burn them in a human-sized stove. Yeah.
I need a human-sized stove.
I know. How cliche would that be, though? Like the witch.
I know.
with the human-sized stove. I'm thinking Hansel and Gretel all the way.
Oh, yeah.
But that didn't end well for the witch, though.
But wasn't she blind?
Yeah.
You're
like, I can see, bitch.
I got my sight.
Like, I'll put on my glasses. In one pile of ashes, investigators found a small gold chain from a woman's shoe. Later, when Holmes was kind of admitting and elaborating on everything that he had done in that home, he said, "I was born with the devil in me. I could not help the fact that I was a murderer more than the poet can help the inspiration to sing."
So he was like Dexter.
Yeah, he's like, I can't help it. It's I have to do it.
Yeah.
In 1893, Chicago's World Fair was one of America's history's most attended cultural events, with millions of people attending over a duration of the fair. Noting the thousands of people who went missing during the World's Fair, some papers at the time suggested the actual count of Holmes' victims stretched into the 200s.
I'm mad at the World's Fair.
Why?
Because they're the reason we have a damn kudzu vine everywhere.
Oh, that's true.
Fuckers.
Look it up, guys.
They should have kept that vine in check.
Yeah. God damn vine. Well, there's whoever that person is down in Hansford that planted that bamboo.
Oh. What were they thinking?
I know.
I don't know.
Like, there is a fucking legit forest of goddamn bamboo
in West Virginia.
Like that you're like, oh, let's bring some like panda bears in here because it's a fucking Chinese forest of bamboo, and this is like that tall, like building tall.
Yeah. And like my aunt, these people are always going out there and trying to, because it spreads like crazy. You can pull up a bunch of it, which is really hard to do, by the way.
Yeah.
And then the very next day go out, and there's all kinds of little brand new shoots popping out of the ground. Like, if they weren't out there constantly pulling up this bamboo, the whole town would be taken over. It's insane.
It's ridiculous. I mean, it's beautiful. Because we thought about buying homes down there.
Yeah.
In my home, the backyard was nothing but fucking bamboo.
You're like, mine will never fall in the creek.
Yeah.
Bamboo will hold it in place. Because there was a ton.
I remember your stepdad got out there and was like trying to saw it down. I'm like, yeah, that's not going to work.
That shit's difficult.
Yeah. Anyway. I don't know.
It's like the cockroach of the plant world.
It really is. Anyway, for the most part, Holmes represented himself at his trial, displaying his classic grace and a remarkable knowledge of the law. But his charm wasn't enough for the jurors. Though he was unanimously sentenced to, unanimously sentenced to hanging for his crimes. And because he was very familiar with what could happen to a body after it's dead because of what he did to his victims.
Yeah.
One of his biggest fears was that people were going to exhume him and do things to his body. So he requested that he be encased in cement inside his coffin so that no one could get to his body. Now, I couldn't find whether or not they actually did that for him. Probably not. But he was scared to death that he was going to be cut up and put on display and everything because of how evil he was.
Yeah. And
back then, I could see them doing it. I could see them parading his body through the town back in those days.
Yeah.
Before his death in 1896, Holmes had suggested that he was turning into the devil. He even said that his face was taking on a demonic look. And he did look kind of fucking weird by the end of by the time he was sentenced and killed. What?
Yeah, you're Cancer.
Mm-hmm.
This says, "What are you made of, Cancer? Hot chocolate with extra marshmallows, a mason jar of moonshine, a 24-pack of tissues from Costco, Grandma's homemade mac and cheese, and a pint and a half baked Ben & Jerry's."
Make it Chunky Monkey. That's my favorite ice cream is Ben & Jerry's Chunky Monkey.
Mine says, Gemini, 3 cherry lime LaCroix, 1 margarita with extra sweet and sour mix. I do like sweet and sour mix. A hot air balloon, a dinner buffet, and a can of whipped cream.
Yeah, that's you. That's you. I didn't have a grandma, though.
Oh, Jesus God.
To have grandma's...
Are you trying to be depressing?
Grandma's mac and cheese. My last living grandparent died when I was 2. So I don't have warm, fuzzy memories of grandma's cooking.
Well, I'm sure if you had been around your grandma, she would have made you macaroni and
Anyway.
and it would have been fan-fucking-tastic.
Maybe.
Yes, it would have.
Okay. Grandma was poor.
Oh my God! It keeps getting worse!
She had 13 kids.
Holy fuck!
And, like, the church took most of them. And she had to marry a guy that was a lot younger than her in order to get him back. And he ended up being an alcoholic and a bootlegger. And she worked hard. Like, he didn't really work.
You're depressing the shit out of me right now.
That's my real life. That's Grandma's real life story.
That's depressing as fuck.
Yeah, my mom's mom. Anyway, so when Holmes, when they actually carried out his sentence, he was to be hanged. However that one goes, I don't know.
Put on a rope.
They dropped the floor beneath him, but his neck didn't snap like it was supposed to. They let him lay twitching on the ground for 20 minutes before he was pronounced dead. So,
or what were they supposed to do?
Like, I don't know. Shoot him in the head.
Come on, he was psycho.
Yeah,
he can suffer.
Yeah, true. And the story of his murder castle is crazy enough. I mean, the fact that he would trap these unsuspecting people in there and toy with them before murdering them and dissecting them. I mean, that's horrible. But then the story gets weird after his death.
It's not weird now.
After his death. After his death, there were some strange things that happened to the people that had been connected. Mm-hmm. The man who initially tipped off police to Holmes's illegal dealings, he was shot. He was shot by a Chicago police officer. Wasn't doing anything wrong. Officer just shot him. Officer don't know. He's like, I don't know why I did it.
Excuse me.
Was he taken over by a spirit? Who knows? But he shot the guy and was like, I don't know why I shot him.
He didn't like his outfit.
Yeah. The warden...
At least that'd be why I would shoot somebody.
Yeah. Back then, the clothes, they were weird.
How many fashion crimes do I bitch about when we're together?
All the time.
Yeah.
All the time. The warden at the prison where Holmes had been killed, he actually killed himself after Holmes was sentenced to death. The office of the district attorney who argued the case caught on fire and burned down. The only item to survive the blaze intact was a photo of Holmes. That's pretty weird. Patrick Quinlan, the former caretaker... Oh my fucking God, what is it with my tongue today?
That's what he said.
It's not listening. Patrick Quinlan, the former caretaker of the castle, aside from Holmes, would know the most about the home because, he helped take care of it.
Yes.
He committed suicide in 1914.
What? To pay right, you can't put bags on your head.
She's like, goodbye, world. Goodbye, world.
She's good. She wants to do it.
She's like you're like your depressing grandmother story.
Yeah, she wants to.
She's like, that's my great grandma. I've got nothing to live for. So there were all these people that had been connected with it that died mysteriously or committed suicide.
He could have had something set up to where he paid some fucking mercenaries or something. If I die, I want these people killed.
Burn down the,
and killed them and paid them ahead of time.
And then, after the building burns down, throw my picture in there.
I watched Breaking Bad. I know how this shit works.
Yeah. So that's the first thing. Now we're going to switch to something that people, people know of H.H. Holmes. They know of the murder castle. But, like, I think that as far as buildings go, like, everybody knows about the Winchester House.
Yeah.
Like, that's, like, how can you not know about the Winchester House?
I think anybody that has cable knows about the Winchester House.
Yeah. So I figured, like, we'll talk about the Winchester House, because I would love to go there. Like, I would love to go see it.
She's going after it. She can't stand it.
What are you doing? Get off my... Jesus.
She looks so offended.
Christ. So, the Winchester House was the brainchild of Sarah Winchester. Her marriage to the Winchester firearms fortune, and, let's see. Oh, God, that sentence is horrible. Oh.
They found a dead racehorse.
Yeah.
In a West Virginia landfill. What the
What?
hell?
Is that like a news story right now?
I'm reading it right now.
Like, where did they find it at?
In a landfill in West
Well,
Virginia.
no fucking shit. Like, where?
You can tell someone not from West Virginia wrote the article, because for West Virginia, instead of WV, it says WVA. And nobody that's actually from this state does it like that, because it's retarded. Anyway, let me see. This a West Virginia woman recently was stunned at what she saw at a landfill. She must have been on her daily
Landfill jaunt.
Yeah. The stiff body of a dead racehorse. The woman took photos of what she saw at the Brooke County landfill in Colliers, West Virginia on September 27th. Then she called the nearby casino, racetrack, and resort to ask if the horse came from there. Finally, she contacted PETA, which contacted the Hancock County Sheriff's Office to ask for an investigation, but it's unclear that anyone even did anything illegal. And the guy that owns the racetracks confirmed that it probably came from my track.
It died.
Yeah.
He'll get a fine. You're not allowed to put dead animals.
Oh, God, he said when horses are euthanized, that's where we take them. To the landfill.
See, I thought you weren't allowed to put animals in the landfill.
I don't know. And they have a standing arrangement with the landfill to take their dead horses.
The casino owner's like, or the racetrack owner's like, what?
That's just...
It's what we do.
I don't know.
That woman needs to stop going around the landfill. Mind her own goddamn business. Anyway, so the Winchester House.
That'd be something my mom would say.
The Winchester House. So Sarah Winchester, she was heir, to the Winchester firearms fortune through her marriage. Okay.
She had a lot of issues with the guns, knowing that the guns that she made her money from, that they killed people.
Yeah.
That fucked her up a little bit.
So, of course, she had a lot of problems leading up to that too, because she had a child that died, and then, like, her husband later died. She was left alone. But she was born around 1840. She grew up in a world of privilege. She spoke 4 languages, attended the best schools around, married well, and eventually gave birth to a daughter, Annie. However, tragedy struck in her late 20s when Annie died, followed by the death of Sarah's husband, William, more than a decade later. After William's death in 1881, Sarah inherited roughly $20 million. Okay, so now we need to think back in the day, because in 2019 dollars, that's $500 million.
It's a lot.
She inherited $500 million, as well as 50% of the Winchester Arms Company, which left her a continued income equal to $1,000 a day. In 2019 dollars, that's $26,000 a day.
The first week, you and I could totally spend that much money every day.
Yeah.
But after that, we would, like, you would own all the yarn in the state.
Yeah.
We'd be set. We'd just be sitting there like, I can't do it.
We would be blotting our face oil with dollar bills.
I was thinking of how I'll be in the car, when we go somewhere.
Yeah.
And then we get down, I'm like, wait!
Yeah, and you start blotting. Like,
I might have to blot my grease.
Yeah. Like, grab, like, sometimes you use those papers specifically for that. And then other times you're like, give me a McDonald's napkin. And...
Guys, I am like a pubescent teenager.
Yeah.
It's awful. But I'm not wrinkly yet. So
yeah.
I think I'll just be okay with it. There's nothing I can do about it.
So anyway, newly in possession of a massive fortune and struggling with the loss of her husband and daughter, she sought the advice of a medium.
Woo.
She hoped.
Your face!
Well, and I was sitting here thinking, like, you know, and I'll get to that in a second.
Yes.
She hoped perhaps to get advice from the beyond as to how to spend her fortune or what to do with her life. Though the exact specifics remain between Sarah Winchester and her medium, the story goes that the medium was able to channel dearly departed William, who advised Sarah to leave her home in New Haven, Connecticut, and head west to California. And then California. And as far as what she was supposed to do with her money, William answered that too. She was to use the fortune to build a home for the spirits of those who had died fallen victim to the Winchester rifles. And you know, and if she didn't do it, then she would be haunted by them for the rest of her life.
That's really stupid advice, by the way.
Well, okay, here's the thing. You and I are very enterprising people.
I can tell this is going to be good just from the look on your face.
Yeah, we're enterprising people. We like to make money, and yeah, we hustle. We hustle quite a bit.
Yeah.
And if some fucking $26,000 a day fucking bitch come in, the last thing we're going to tell her to do is move further away from us
and go build a house.
So that makes me think that the advice from this medium was true.
No.
I don't know, because like I could see you and I being like, oh, he wants you to keep me in your inner circle and build me a house, and you know what I'm saying. But like she's like, no,
I'll tell you why it's bullshit.
Move across the country.
You want to know why it's bullshit?
Yeah, give me a chance to eat a chip.
I'll tell you why it's bullshit, because dead people do talk to me. They don't need fucking houses to live in. They're on the other side having a big hippy dippy love fest. They're not wandering around, I don't have anywhere to live. So it's crap.
Maybe the house was supposed to be like the vacation spot. When you get tired of the other side.
They don't get tired of the other side.
You come over here, go to the Winchester house, but hey, what's up, guys?
No.
What's going on?
No. Trust me.
Anyway, in 1884, Sarah purchased what would later become known as the Winchester Mystery House. At the time of the sale, the house was a small, unfurnished farmhouse, but that quickly changed. She hired carpenters to work around the clock, expanding the small house into a 7-story mansion. Due to the lack of a plan and the presence of an architect, the house was constructed haphazardly. Rooms were added onto exterior walls, resulting in windows overlooking other rooms. Multiple staircases would
Wait! How the fuck would a window overlook another room unless the window is in the floor?
Okay, no. Like, let's say the house is built kind of like on a hill. Like here at my house.
Mm-hmm.
Right here, the road is like right there below that window. But if you go back here on this side of my house where it's like on a hill, people can walk under my bathroom window and I see the top of their head.
Mm-hmm.
So if I'm going to build a room onto that back side of my house, you would then be able to look out my window down into the room that you built on. And that's what they're...
But it would have a roof on it.
It was built like... They would build it at the same... Like the roof would stay the same level. And then you would just have steps going down into it. Anyway, you're putting way too much thought into it. That was the purpose of the house. Was to be stupid. And crazy. But she would build rooms, like, she would add a room right here. So then you'd have a window that looked into the other room.
Sure.
That's probably the word they should have used for you instead of, they should have used into instead of down. Jesus fucking Christ. Anyway. Yeah.
You're like, you always do this to me.
I'm just like, eat your chip. Multiple staircases would be added, all with different sized risers, giving each staircase a distorted look. Stranger so was the fact that many of the alterations seemed pointless.
Can I pour the last little bit of pop in your sink?
Yeah?
Which side?
The one that doesn't have a tub in it.
Okay.
My sink leaks on one side, so I have to like not put water in it. I'm too poor to fix it properly. Anyway.
Oh, the great sink incident.
Oh, where I got in the floor.
She got stuck in the floor, guys.
It wasn't so much that I was stuck. I just didn't know how to go about getting up.
You were stuck in the floor.
It wasn't like I was like jammed into something stuck. I tried to get some of that Flex Seal and fix my sink from underneath. So I get down on the floor and first of all I end up covered in fucking Flex Seal.
Yes.
Like all the way up my arm, on my legs. I mean, it was horrible. So once I get it all sprayed, I'm sitting in the floor and I'm like, now how the fuck do I get up? Because I'm a big girl.
I remember when you called me after to tell me how you got out of the floor.
Yeah, because like I have a bad back and I have bad knees. So I'm like, how the fuck am I going to get out of the floor now?
She's on the phone. My neck, my back,
yeah,
my pussy and my crack.
So, and it's kind of funny that you say that. Because I was thinking like, well, you have no problem being in Doggy. So I rolled over, got on all fours, and that's how I got up.
So were you like regular Doggy with your hands up? Or were you like face on the floor with your ass up, Doggy?
Started with face on the floor. And then I extended my arms, and then I got up. Anyway, many of the alterations were pointless. Staircases would ascend several levels and then end abruptly. Doors would open to solid walls, and hallways would turn a corner and end at a dead end.
Man, that'd be great for having kids.
Yeah.
Be like, go play.
Yeah.
You wouldn't see those fuckers all day. Just leave some snacks out at random places for them to find.
Install one of those bell systems. So that they could ring the bell. Like, remember, like, back in the old days, like, the bells would be on a pulley system?
Yeah.
And it was in the kitchen, and, like, you could ring it, and then, like, they'd be able to tell in the kitchen, like, okay, they're ringing from the study.
Yeah.
And then, like, the servants would go there. Yeah, that would work. Be like, you're lost. Okay, ring the bell. Okay, you need to go down the fake hallway, but instead of going left, go right. Go through the trap door. Yeah. You can help them. You can help them on the way back. Anyway. At one point, she had insisted that the home be built exclusively out of redwood. However, she didn't like the look of the wood. So she insisted it be covered with a stain and a faux grain.
Faux grain.
Faux grain.
That sounds so snobby.
Yeah. By the time the house was completed, over 20,000 gallons of paint had been used to cover the wood. By the turn of the century, Sarah Winchester had her ghost house, an oddly laid out mansion with 7 stories, 161 rooms, 47 fireplaces, 10,000 panes of glass, 2 basements, 3 elevators, and a mysterious funhouse-like interior. Anyone who set foot in the home could tell that no expense had been spared. Gold and silver chandeliers hung from the ceilings above hand-inlaid parquet flooring. Dozens of artful stained glass windows created by Tiffany and Company dotted the walls, including some designed by like that guy, like the Tiffany guy himself, Louis Comfort Tiffany.
Hey, if anybody ever wins the lottery and wants to buy me a present, I would love to have a stained glass window.
Yeah, it'd be pretty.
So pretty.
It'd be pretty. One window in particular was intended to create a rainbow effect on the floor when light flowed through it. Of course, the window ended up being on an interior wall, and thus the effect was never achieved. So,
Did you just say that to depress me?
She ruined it. Ruined it. Even more luxurious than the fixtures was the plumbing and electrical work. Rare for the time, the Winchester Mystery House boasted indoor plumbing, including coveted hot running water and a push button gas lighting available throughout the home. Additionally, forced air heating flowed throughout the house. So it was like very.
If I was building a ghost house, I would not live in it. I would have my own little house and have them build that house somewhere else.
Really?
Yes, really. I'm just staring at her on purpose while she's chewing.
Because I'm thinking, oh, she's talking. I'll hurry up and have a chip. And then I think you finish up on purpose.
No, I just ran out of shit to say.
To watch me try to, hurry up and eat. Anyway. And in 1904, an earthquake struck San Jose, and the Winchester Mystery House sustained a hefty amount of damage.
Say it ain't so!
Mm-hmm. Thanks to the floating foundation, the entire house was saved from collapse, but the top 3 floors ultimately had to be removed.
What the hell's a floating foundation?
And I knew you were going to ask that. So I have it in parentheses.
This shows we've spent way too much time together.
I knew you were going to ask. I was like, I'll skip over it. And if she doesn't ask, we'll keep right on going. But if she does ask, I have an answer.
I'm ready.
Okay. It's a foundation that equals the weight of the surrounding soil.
What does that mean?
I don't know. But that's what it is. So anyway. They had to remove the top 3 floors, leaving the house with only 4 stories as seen today.
Yes.
I just lost my place. Throughout the years-long construction of the Winchester Mystery House, she would never confirm that she was building a haunted house. However, stories and rumors swirled throughout San Jose. The contractors who worked on the house reported Winchester having daily seances with local mediums in an effort to reach good spirits. These good spirits were reportedly consulted to find out how to best appease the spirits of whom she was allegedly building the house for. These spirits are reportedly what called Winchester to make so many illogical additions to the home. Far after the construction was completed, Winchester continued to make efforts to appease the victims of the Winchester rifles. Out of the 13 bathrooms in the home, only 1 was functional, and that was in an effort to confuse any ghosts that wanted to haunt the bathrooms. So,
because it's worse to be haunted in a bathroom than anywhere else, right?
Furthermore, she would sleep in a different room every night in the Winchester house and use secret passageways to get from room to room so that no spirits could follow her.
So why the fuck was she living in it?
In the years Sarah Winchester lived in the house, the residents of San Jose whispered about its strange construction and even stranger inhabitant. But it was in the years after her death that the wild stories became even wilder. I'm like you, why'd she live in it?
I know, it's crazy. She's clearly uncomfortable.
She may attack your face.
I'll turn this way.
Okay. She's on her hands and knees in the floor.
Oh.
I don't know why, but that's what she's doing. And she's like, her face is like pointing directly at my cat, and I'm like, yeah, she's gonna rip your face off.
Trying to stretch my back.
Okay. After her death in September 1992, Sarah Winchester left all of her belongings to her niece Marion, who had served as her personal secretary later in life. However, the Winchester Mystery House was never mentioned in her will, adding to the mystery of the home. So she's like, I'm going to leave everything to my niece, like all my belongings to my niece, but I'm not going to mention the house.
Who got it?
Well, because everything else was left to the niece, Marion got the house as well. But after appraisers deemed the house worthless due to its strange design, damage from earthquakes, and long-winded construction, Marion took everything in it and auctioned it off. The current owners of the house claim it took 6 weeks to empty the house of all furniture, though that report was uncorroborated. After the house was emptied, a local investor purchased the home for a cool $135,000. I can't even.
We found the position.
I can't even.
Next time I'm struggling, you be like, remember that day?
I wonder if they heard that.
Oh, God.
It wasn't me this time. Remember one time I farted? Anyway. Oh, God.
If they could see me, it'd be even funnier.
Yeah. Anyway. So anyway, he bought that big mansion for $135,000 because like local appraisers were like, structurally it's not sound. It doesn't make any goddamn sense. No one's gonna want it. Just 5 months after Sarah Winchester died, the Winchester Mystery House was open to the public for tours. Despite being fully emptied, refurnished, and opened for business, the Winchester Mystery House continued to surprise. While Sarah Winchester was alive, stories were told of a storage room in her home filled with over $25,000. Now, of course, today that would be like $300,000 worth of undisplayed riches, including a Tiffany window designed by Winchester herself, featuring a spiderweb design. In 2016, a secret attic was discovered, though there's no proof that it was the same secret storage room. Inside the attic, they found a pump organ, a Victorian...
What?
Like one of those organs that the air would pump through.
My mind went somewhere else.
I know. A Victorian-era couch, a dress form, a sewing machine, and various paintings. A year later, rooms that were never open to the public were put on display, including sections of the home that had remained unfinished at the time of her death. Even 95 years after her death, it seemed that Sarah Winchester's house was still holding on to some secrets. Since her death, little has been uncovered about Sarah... Jesus fucking Christ. Since her death, little has been uncovered about Sarah Winchester and the reasoning behind her obsessions with building the Winchester Mystery House. She gave no interviews, left behind no journals, and had no family willing to speak about her.
She was depressed.
Yeah. Occasionally will to the home will report feeling the spirits. I don't know what's wrong with my dog.
She sees me in the floor.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
She's like, let me out.
Do you want me to put her outside?
Hang on a second. Let me finish this up. Because, well, we have more to talk about. Yeah, go ahead and put her out. I'll keep her out. She's going to get real noisy, guys.
You're about to hear me wrestle with a pit bull.
Yeah. Listen, you'll be able to hear, like, they should be able to hear her mouse around that cage as soon as she realizes you're coming.
Yeah.
Hi, honey. Oh, my God, you're big. Go over there. You got to grab hold of her collar.
Hey, Nyota. Come here. Are you limping?
She slides around on the floor and pulls a muscle or something. I don't know. But anyway, she didn't leave anything behind that would indicate why she did this. Make sure you really press on that door. See, it wasn't shut. But she left about, there was no one willing to talk to her. Occasionally, visitors to the home will report feeling the spirits that have long resided in the home, though, of course, paranormal investigations have turned up nothing. So everyone that's ever been allowed to, investigate the Winchester home, they've never found any proof of it being haunted.
I think I found the sweet spot.
I think it's just a crazy house built by a crazy woman.
Yeah.
And I think that's what it boils down to. I don't think that I think that she lost her only child. Then she lost her husband, and all she had left was all this money.
She was bored.
And I think that she might have been crazy. I think she might have been schizophrenic or something. And that's where it all comes from. But anyway, so that was the Winchester house. We're going to talk about something a little more recent.
Oh, really?
And it's the video that I made you watch last night. So that you would be...
Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah, it was really weird. So that you would be prepared.
She knows I'm horrible. I never watch YouTube, hardly ever.
And I will send you videos, be like, hey, watch this. You're like, okay. And then you don't watch it.
I don't know what it is. YouTube just gets on my nerves. So, she has me on the phone last night, and she's like, I just sent you a video. You have to watch it.
I was like, it doesn't have any sound.
You're like, you have to be on the phone with me, so I know you're watching it. Like I'm a child.
Yeah. So, and you guys can go look this up and watch the video because it's fucking crazy. You want to go to YouTube and you want to search Elisa Lam security footage. Okay, and that's ELISA LAM, Elisa Lam. To this day, nobody knows exactly how Elisa Lam died. We know that the 21-year-old Canadian college student was last seen in the Cecil Hotel in Los Angeles on July 31st, 2013. But the infamously chilling hotel surveillance video that captured the bizarre final moments of her disappearance have only elicited more questions than answers. Ever since her body was discovered in the hotel water tank on February 19th, her tragic demise has remained shrouded in mystery. Although the coroner's office has ruled her death an accidental drowning, the strange details of Lam's case have fueled rampant speculation about what may have really happened. There has been many theories about the tragedy involving everything from murder conspiracies to evil spirits. On January 26, 2013, Elisa Lam arrived in L.A. She had just come by Amtrak train from San Diego.
I rode an Amtrak once.
I have as well.
It was pretty fucking cool.
Yeah. She read, bleh, God fucking damn. I think it's the cheese. Because I noticed I have more trouble right after I finish eating a chip.
What makes it funny is that you're so fucking serious when you say that. And you have the hand gestures going on.
I really do think it's the cheese.
It's the cheese.
I think the cheese is fucking with my tongue. Anyway.
We need to get your tongue pierced again.
I don't know.
I'd go with you.
It was a lot of pain.
No.
When I had it done, it was.
You had it done by the wrong fucker.
Mm. And I had it pierced for 10 years. And I took it out and it grew up.
It grows up fast.
Yeah. And I can't talk now. Why do you want to put something in my tongue?
I can talk with mine.
Anyway. On January 26, 2013, she arrived in L.A. She had taken an Amtrak train from San Diego and was headed to Santa Cruz as part of her solo trip around the West Coast. The trip was supposed to be a getaway from her studies at the University of British Columbia in Vancouver, where she was originally from. Her family had been wary about her traveling by herself, but the young student was determined to go at it alone. As a compromise, Lam made sure to check in with her parents every day to let them know that she was safe. That's why it struck her parents as unusual when they didn't hear from their daughter on January 31st, the day she was scheduled to check out of her LA hotel, the Cecil. The Lambs eventually contacted the Los Angeles Police Department. The police searched the premises of the Cecil, but couldn't find her. Police soon released surveillance footage taken from the cameras at the Cecil Hotel on their website. This is where things took a turn for the truly bizarre. The hotel video, and you watched it. I mean, it, like I said, guys, go look it up and watch it because it's it's spooky as fuck.
It looks like she's at first she looks completely normal.
Yeah.
And then you can see her. It starts to be creepy, she's possessed almost.
Yeah, and it's like she's looking. She's looking around the edge of the elevator.
You can tell she's scared.
Yeah.
She hears something.
And you see her step out of range of the camera for a couple minutes. And then you see her making these weird hand movements and arm movements. I mean, the whole thing is just weird. The hotel video showed Elisa Lam in one of its elevators on the date of her disappearance acting rather strangely. In the God, my fucking Jesus Christ. Footage, Lam can be seen stepping into the elevator and pushing all of the floor buttons. She steps in and out of the elevator, poking her head out sideways toward the hotel's hallway in between. She peers out of the elevator another few times before stepping out of the elevator completely. The last minutes of the video show Lam standing by the left side of the door, moving her hands in random gestures. Nobody else was captured on the video except for Lam. Now, what I'll point out about that elevator is because, like, we all know how elevators work. The door opens. If there's no one there, they fucking close. And then you stick your hand out, they open back up, you know? This elevator door was staying open.
Yeah.
On its own. She was not in its path that would have kept it from closing or anything like that. And there was even one point where it looked like she was trying to touch something that would have been standing in front of the doors.
You guys should see her touching the air right now.
Yeah. She was like, it was like she was trying to touch something that was in front of her that we couldn't see.
Looks like you're grabbing a titty or some balls.
And, she was trying to, like, so, I mean, obviously, like, I don't know if she could see something that the camera couldn't pick up. But whatever it was very weird.
Very weird.
On February 19th, 2 weeks after the video was published by authorities, maintenance worker San Diego Lopez found Elisa Lam's dead body, floating in one of the hotel water tanks. Lopez made a discovery after responding to complaints from hotel patrons about low water pressure and a weird taste coming from the tap water.
They were drinking it!
Yeah. According to a statement by the chief of police of Los Angeles Fire Department, the tank in which Lisa Lam's body was found had to be drained completely and then cut open from the side to remove her 5'4" frame. So she was tiny.
She was my height.
Yeah, she was tiny. She was short. She was...
Hey! I'm not short!
She was small of stature.
I'm average height.
She was small of stature.
She was shorter than you.
And she was tiny. Like, she was a tiny girl.
She was really slim and petite looking.
And there was no way for them to get her body out of the tank without cutting the tank open. So how the fuck did her body get in it? You know, so that's one of the mysteries of this whole thing. Like, how did she fucking get in there? They couldn't get her out without cutting it open, so how'd she get in? Anyway. Now, nobody knows how her corpse floating lifelessly next to the same clothes she wore in the surveillance video. So she was naked in there, and her clothes were in there. Okay. They don't know how she ended up in the hotel's water tank or who else might have been involved. Hotel staff told authorities that Lam was always seen by herself around the hotel premises. When the autopsy results for Lam's case came out, it only served to ignite more questions. The toxicology report confirmed that Lam had consumed a number of medical drugs, medication for her bipolar disorder, but there was no indications of alcohol or illegal substances in her body. The breakdown pointed out 3 key observations.
One.
Lam took at least one antidepressant that day.
Number 2.
Lam had taken her second antidepressant and mood stabilizer recently, but not that day.
3.
Lam had not taken her antipsychotic recently. These conclusions suggested that Lam, who had been diagnosed with bipolar disorder and depression, may not have been taking her medications properly. Now, I'm going to stop there for a second. Just because she was taking an antipsychotic medication does not mean she was psychotic.
Well, another thing, bipolar doesn't mean you're psychotic. Like the way you saw her hands and shit doing in that video.
Yeah.
That's not associated with bipolar.
Yeah, and I mean, you know, like, obviously we're not experts on the field, but we have both worked in fields surrounding people that have those type of problems.
And I know people that they're fine.
Yeah. So that wasn't what you and I saw on that video.
No.
And as far as like the antipsychotics, one of the medications that they give for people with bipolar is Seroquel. And Seroquel is a drug that's typically used to treat schizophrenia. But they give it to people who don't have schizophrenia. So just because she was on, an antipsychotic doesn't mean that she was psychotic. Okay.
Yeah, they could change the name of the medication.
Yeah, like I wanted to kind of point that out.
You know what I mean? There's too. I know this is off subject, but people have attached too much of a stigma to needing to be on medication.
Yeah.
Take your medication. You can't help it.
Yeah.
You can't help having a chemical imbalance.
Well, and then just through, having taken medicines for a long time, doctors have found it's just like there's a medicine that they give people who are diabetic that helps women conceive babies.
Yeah.
They'll put women who are not diabetic on this medication for fertility issues.
Right.
I think it's metformin, I think.
Well, like I was on, they had me taking depression medication and anxiety medication at the same time. I'm fine.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't mean doesn't mean you're not a normal human being.
Yeah. And I wanted to kind of like get into that because like I'm telling you guys, go watch the video. You're going to feel so sorry for this girl. She's clearly terrified and something bad happened to her. It's an important finding to note, given that these antidepressants to treat bipolar can risk inducing manic side effects if they're not done with caution. So they're saying, okay, like if you don't take your medication properly, certain bipolar medications can cause you to have manic episodes. And I mean that's just the truth. I mean, there's some medications that if you stop cold turkey, you'll kill yourself. I mean, but if you watch that video, you're going to agree with us that is not what's happening to her.
My sister's a straight up lunatic.
Yeah.
Remember she called me that one night?
Yeah, I thought there was people in.
She left that message. She's like, "They're coming in the house. They're going to kill me.
Yeah.
Please come save me." And I'm like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah. Didn't you like?
I took a screenshot of the message
and sent it to
my stepmom.
Yeah, sent it to her mom.
Like you need to do something.
Like this is your mess. You clean it up. You adopted her.
But what is that? I can't think of what it's called now.
Schizophrenic?
Yes.
Yeah.
And she has multiple other issues on top of it. So it's not just schizophrenia.
Yeah.
But that's the problem. She won't take her medication.
Yeah.
She's fine when she takes her medication.
Hotel manager Amy Price made a statement in court that would strongly support the theory that she was a little mentally unstable. She reported that during Lamb's stay at the Cecil Hotel, Lamb had originally been booked in a hostel style room that she would share with others. However, complaints of her odd behavior ended up forcing them to move Lamb to a private room to herself. If I was in a hostel, I might act strangely just to get into a private room.
I would not. After that horror movie?
Yeah.
No, wouldn't happen.
But even if she had been suffering from mental issues, how did she end up dead? Furthermore, how did she end up in the hotel's water tank? The autopsy did not show any foul play from the evidence that was processed, but the coroner's office noted that they were unable to do a full examination because they could not examine the blood from Liam's decomposing body.
So she was in one piece?
Yeah. That's why they eventually just ended ruling it as a accidental drowning. Like she wasn't beat up, nothing.
That's weird.
Yeah. Her parents filed a wrongful death suit against the Cecil Hotel several months after their daughter's death was uncovered. The Lamb's attorney stated that the hotel had a duty to inspect and seek out hazards in the hotel that presented an unreasonable risk of danger to Lamb and other hotel guests. The hotel fought back against the suit, filing a motion to dismiss it. The hotel's lawyer argued that the hotel had no reason to think that someone would be able to get into one of their water tanks.
Hotel, motel,
Holiday Inn. So they were saying like there was no reason for us to think anyone could get into that because you can't. They had to cut her out of it.
Yeah.
Based on court statements from the hotel's maintenance staff, the hotel's arguments is not entirely far-fetched. Remember the guy who found her body, that Santiago Lopez?
Yeah.
he went into detail exactly how much effort it took for him to even find her body. Lopez said that he took an elevator to the 15th floor of the hotel before walking up the staircase to the roof. Then he had to first turn off the rooftop alarm and climb up onto the platform where the hotel's 4 water tanks are located. Finally, he had to climb another ladder to get to the top of the main tank. Only after that did he notice something unusual. He stated, "I noticed the latch to the main water tank was open and looked inside and saw an Asian woman laying face up in the water approximately 12 inches from the top of the tank." So the water tank was full.
Yeah.
And there was only 12 inches of space between the opening, the little opening that he was looking through, and her body. So, I mean, he must have seen her face. Like, that had to have been what was...
That would freak me out.
Yeah, if you open the hatch and there's a face. His testimony suggested that it would have been difficult for Liam to make it to the top of the water tank on her own, at least not without anyone noticing. The hotel's chief engineer, Pedro Tovar, also made it clear that it would be difficult for anyone to access the rooftop where the hotel water tanks were located without triggering the alarms. Only hotel employees would be able to deactivate the alarm properly. If it was triggered, the sound of the alarm would reach the front desk as well as the entire Jesus fucking Christ.
Top floozy.
The top 2 floors of the hotel. Elisa Lam's mysterious demise was not the first to happen at the Cecil Hotel. In fact, the building's sordid past has earned it a reputation as one of the most supposedly haunted properties in Los Angeles. Since opening its doors in 1927, the Cecil Hotel has been plagued by 16 different non-natural deaths and unexplained paranormal events. The most famous death associated with the hotel, other than Liam's now, was the 1947 murder of actress Elizabeth Short, a.k.a. the Black Dahlia. She was reportedly seen drinking at the hotel bar in the days before her grisly demise. The hotel has also hosted some of the country's most notorious killers. In 1985, Richard Ramirez, also known as the Night Stalker, lived on the top floor of the hotel during his monstrous killing spree.
That'd be a cool witch name.
What, Night Stalker? Yeah. Jesus. It's like, oh, where'd you get your name? Oh, I named myself after a serial killer. Where'd you get your magical name?
That sounds like a name you would use.
I know.
You're all into that kind of shit.
I am.
It's kind of creepy.
I really am. I love watching like the cold case files and like confession tapes and like all those stories. The story goes that after a murder, he would dump his bloody clothes outside of the hotel and return half naked.
Nobody noticed.
Yeah. Back then, the hotel was in such a disarray that his nude stunt barely raised an eyebrow. So I mean, like, some weird shit has always been going down at the Cecil Hotel, but just that video is just so freaky.
It's weird.
It really is. I mean, it looks like one, you could tell she's terrified. And she's looking as if something's chasing her. And there's even a couple points where it looks like her hands might be like movements that you would make trying to calm someone down. Mm-hmm. And like, just calm down or whatever. But then I swear to Christ, there's that one part where it looks like she's trying to figure out what's standing in front of her. And there's nothing there. So so that's weird. That's weird.
The only thing I can think of is that she was schizophrenic.
I mean, it would explain it.
Yeah.
I mean, it really would explain it. I just don't. I don't know. I really like. Let's say yeah, she's schizophrenic. But how did she end up in a water tank that they had to cut her body out of?
I don't know. Unless it was a hotel employee.
No, but if a hotel employee could open the tank to put her in, then another hotel employee could open it to take her body out.
Maybe.
They had to drain the tank and get torches and cut a hole in it.
I don't know.
To get her body out. So, like, how did it get in there?
Did you hear that?
It's the dogs barking.
Next door?
No, up around the bend.
Oh.
They have, like, 12 fucking dogs. It's just dogs all fucking day, all night. Just dogs.
I didn't mean to trigger you.
Jesus. I don't know. Anyway. So now we're going to move on to the mystery of the Overton Bridge in Scotland.
There was a dramatic pause in Scotland.
I realized after I dramatically paused that I was pausing for the wrong part.
That's great.
Because the pause for Scotland was not the pause. Like, I was going to be like, Doggy suicides.
Oh, yeah, you chose the wrong spot.
Yeah.
It's all right. We forgive you.
So there's a bridge in Scotland where dogs will throw themselves to their deaths. At least 300 dogs have jumped off Overton Bridge in Dumbarton, Scotland.
Let's go with Dumbercock.
Dumbarton.
I still want to call it Dumbercock.
Okay. Locals believe paranormal activity is to blame. Dog walkers beware. Since the 1960s, the Overton Bridge in Dumbercock, Scotland, has been a mysterious hotbed for what locals have called doggy suicides.
You know what? This will be the one time someone in Scotland listens to our podcast.
We apologize, Scotland. We love you.
Like, we both have Scottish roots.
Like, I can't talk anyway, and then, like, you put in, like, words from other countries, and it's horrible.
You can talk.
Yeah. According to the New York Times, local researchers estimate that at least 300 dogs have jumped off the bridge, while local tabloids report that the number is closer to 600. All in all, some 50 dogs have indeed died as a result of these unexplainable jumps from the bridge. This eerie, sad phenomenon has earned the site the nickname Dog Suicide Bridge.
I'll tell you what it is.
Okay.
I can tell you right now.
Okay.
One of your ancestors
Okay.
that was constantly tortured by the neighbor's dogs
Yeah.
lived around there.
It's just chucking them off the bridge.
Yeah. That's exactly what's happening.
Yeah. That one directly next door.
Your ancestors going, I can't take this shit down. Hey, and speaking, there's a bridge right there.
Mm-hmm. Going to be the Doggy Bridge of Mount Hope. Anyway. In the beginning, the land and property of Overton was still known as Overton Farm, in which the farmhouse stood. Oh, Jesus Christ!
It stood erect. It stood tall.
Where the farmhouse had originally been, like where it had originally been, there's now a formal garden. In 1859, the estate was eventually acquired by James White, who had retired from his legal practice to join his father and uncle in the chemical manufacturing business. 3 years.
That sounds safe.
I know, right? I'm sitting there thinking, like, is that like a euphemism for drugs? Like what?
Yeah.
Anyway, 3 years later, he built Overton House on the property. When White Sr. died in 1844, his son, John White, hired landscape designer Henry Milner to design a bridge to join Overton with Garshake.
What?
Garshake.
Garshake.
The old Overton Bridge, as it stands, is an extension of the driveway that adjoins the Overton house. The Overton Bridge, completed in 1895, has long since been a popular place with pedestrians and dog owners, due in part to its ornate design and lush greenery on both sides. Lush greenery. And since becoming a popular walking route, scores of walkers have reported strange happenings in which their dog somehow becomes possessed and runs toward the bridge before jumping off, likely to die on the rocks some 50 feet below.
It's just goddamn chemicals.
Yeah. Now, I will point out this, if you look up Overton, in old Scots Gaelic, it means the thin place.
Then I can't live there.
Jesus Christ.
Clearly all I can do is gain weight.
No, the thin place referring to where the veil between the worlds is the thinnest.
Sure.
Okay. Some witnesses claim to have watched dogs climb up on the bridge wall before making the jump. In more disturbing reports, some have even said that the dogs who have survived their first jump have returned to the bridge for another attempt. The phenomenon has dog owners understandably on edge. Put your dog on a leash. Anyway, 3 years ago, Lottie McKinnon was walking her border collie, Bonnie, over the Overton Bridge during one of their walking seasons.
What the fuck is a walking season?
I guess the weather's nice for walking. I don't know. Suddenly, McKinnon said she could sense something change in her dog. Something overcome Bonnie as soon as we approached the bridge. At first, Bonnie froze, but then she became possessed by a strange energy and ran and jumped right off the parapet. Bonnie, however, was one of the lucky ones to survive a jump off the Overton Bridge. McKinnon is not the only dog owner in recent years to have witnessed their dog turn while walking on this bridge. In 2011, David and Louise McPhail
hey, I dated a McPhail.
were walking their Labrador Sophie on the bridge. Before Louise could react, Sophie had taken the dive. I started shouting to David, "Sophie's jumped off the bridge. She's jumped off the bridge." It just happened so fast, in seconds, she said. This trend of seemingly suicidal dogs jumping off Overton Bridge has caused enough distress among Damberton residents that the Scottish Society for the Preservation of Cruelty of the prevention, not the preservation, because we don't want to preserve it.
Your face is red.
That's great. That's great. I was like, my mouth said it, and my brain was like, "Hold up."
It just kept coming out.
The Scottish Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals sent representatives to investigate, but investigators were left stumped. They simply could not figure out the mystery either.
Would they show up with dogs and see what they did?
Well, that's a good point. Like, I don't know how you would investigate why a dog would want to commit suicide.
Like, you'd have to take a dog, right?
Yeah. Poor dog. Like if they pick like the sickest one from the pound.
Oh.
Anyway, that was bad. You and I, like, we would hurt a person a lot quicker than we would hurt an animal.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, Dumbarton Jesus Christ.
We're losing her, folks.
Like, I've got, like, my head's a little stopped up.
It's the ear infection.
I don't have an ear infection.
You know you have a goddamn ear infection.
I have no pain.
You had a bladder infection for so long. For so long with no pain. Shit moved up into your kidneys and was in your kidneys so long they thought you had fucking lupus. And now you're on antibiotics for your kidneys for the rest of your fucking life because the infection cannot be destroyed. So, you saying there's no pain means nothing.
You're like, let me lay it out for you.
And as a matter of fact, though, if it wasn't for that painless bladder infection, you would not have found out about
my brain tumor.
Your brain tumor.
Well, that and my legs being numb.
That could have been from your bladder infection, too.
Anyway.
They're like, it's in your spine.
Yeah. Anyway. Dumbarton residents are known to be admittedly superstitious, which certainly helps explain their theories about the dogs who've jumped over Overton Bridge. People in
Did they jump over the bridge or off it?
People in Dumbarton are very superstitious, said Alistair Dutton, a local taxi driver.
The way you said that was hysterical.
What? What?
Just keep going. I'm enjoying myself.
What did I say?
You didn't do anything wrong. It just reminded me of, I don't know. Just
okay.
keep going.
We grew up playing in the Overton grounds, and we believe in ghosts here because we've all seen or felt spirits up here. Many locals are convinced that the force behind the phenomenon is paranormal. Local legend has it that the White Lady of Overton, believed to be the ghost of the ex-estate owner John White's grieving widow, has haunted the property to this day. Locals have talked of ghost sightings in windows and around the grounds, and some believe that the ghostly lady is likely compelling canines to jump to their deaths.
You know, it's really sweet that she grieved the loss of her husband.
Yeah, but why, take it out on a dog? Be like, I miss my husband.
Maybe
Pitch a poodle.
Maybe he was killed by a dog.
I think he just died of old age, natural causes.
I doubt it.
Meanwhile, others speculate that the cause behind the strange canine behavior is much more reasonable than anything having to do with ghosts. Researchers and animal experts familiar with the Overton Bridge have suggested that the dogs are simply attracted to the strong scents given off by the mammals living in the lush gorge below the bridge.
Oh, come on.
I know. I could see it running down the side of the bridge and trying to go down the embankment.
Yeah.
But no dog's going to just fucking free fall. There's food down there.
Right.
Anyway.
You see my dog, because there's a lot of deer that come up in our driveway and stuff. You see my dog, he'll run down the driveway to where the deer will jump over that embankment.
Yeah.
He will stop.
Yeah.
He'll stand there and cry.
Yeah.
He desperately wants to chase him. But he won't even go over the embankment.
Yeah. Let him jump off a bridge. They try to say that theory is actually supported by the facts that dogs have an incredibly keen sense of smell, but they don't have very good eyesight relative to humans. Dogs can smell about 100,000 times better than human beings and are obviously known to be attracted to various strong scents. This likely explains why dogs will often good-naturedly bring their owners surprise gifts like trash, dead animal carcasses, and sometimes even feces.
I've never had my dogs bring me a
poop.
gift.
Your cats have brought you dead animals.
The cats bring me dead shit all the time, but not the dogs.
Yeah. Scientists and biologists believe that dogs act this way so that they can mask their own scent. This harkens to our furry friend's biological ancestor, the wolf. Wolves are known to roll around in dead animal remains before they hunt. This is done to mask their own scent and throw off their prey, and is essentially a survival instinct. And I've seen dogs roll in nasty stuff to bring the scent back with them.
Did you take your allergy pill?
Yes, I did. I took one this morning.
You promise?
I promise.
Okay.
I'm having a hard time.
You were fine, and as you sit here, your nose is getting worse and worse.
I don't know what to tell you. I took the pill.
You need to put some spray up there.
No! That hurts.
It shouldn't.
It does.
Take some ibuprofen.
I have.
When?
This morning when I took the allergy pill. I take them at the same time.
How long ago was that?
7.
You need to take more ibuprofen. Ibuprofen doesn't last as long as an allergy
It's a
pill.
prescription, though.
Still.
It's like 800 milligrams.
Prescription is only 800 milligrams. That's like 4 little ones. It still wears off.
When I'm done with this podcast, Mom,
Okay.
I'll take another fucking ibuprofen. But my allergy pill is 24 hour. Anyway.
Carry at the pro.
Don't. So they're trying to say that that they're, the dogs are jumping over the bridge and because of the smell or whatever. And then a lot of people's okay, we'll give you that. Maybe that's what they're doing. But why this bridge? Why not, why aren't dogs all over the world, bridges all over the place, just fucking jumping to their deaths?
Right.
And it always happens off a specific part of the bridge. They're not they always go to the same spot and that's where they jump. And little dogs have to climb up and then jump off.
That's creepy.
Isn't it? So whatever the cause is, the Overton Bridge continues to be a hot spot of jumping dogs. Thus, a local member of parliament called on the Dumbarton Council to erect clearly marked warning signs around the area of the Overton Bridge in hopes of curbing this bizarre and deadly trend.
So if I walked my ex-husband...
Oh, snap.
Over the bridge.
Snap.
Both of them.
Yes.
Would they jump off the bridge?
Let's hope. Let's hope.
All I'd have to do for my first husband is put the smell of pussy under the bridge.
Oh, God.
And he'd be like...
And it wouldn't even have to be prime pussy.
Oh, no.
He would take any pussy.
He really would.
Yeah.
He really would.
You could probably just throw like a dead mackerel down there. He'd go running for it.
You know, I found out that while we were married, he was hanging out in the hot tub naked with a gay guy.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I think he would screw anyone,
anything,
anytime.
Hey, equal opportunity.
Jesus.
But anyway. So that was the first episode on just weird, mysterious places and mysterious happenings. The lesson here today is...
Put your dog on a leash.
Put your dog on a leash. You won't have to worry about it jumping off a bridge. If you're inheriting a large sum of money, Rain and I will help you find ways of spending it that, won't involve building a great big old house that doesn't make any goddamn sense.
You want a whole room dedicated to yarn.
I do. There's that house I'm looking at on Zillow when we win the lottery, if it's still for sale. It has this little, they call it like a stone library with all these shelves in it. And I was looking, and you were like, oh my God, I could fill that up with books. It's the library. And I'm like, fuck books, man. Yarn. I said I could put a real comfortable recliner in there and a flat screen TV on the wall. And that just, and it has a half bath in there. And that could just be the yarn shack.
No.
Mm-hmm.
I want a library.
Well, it's my house.
I want my own.
When we win the lottery, you can build yourself a library at your house. That you're going to refuse to get a bigger house.
I'm not moving again.
But you would when we win the lottery, you're going to have plenty of fucking money. You don't have to move again. You can hire midgets to move you.
Why would I spend money I don't need to spend when I already own a house?
You can give that to your mom.
I like my house. I would spend money to have my own garage put on. I would do that.
Yeah, you have a garage.
I do.
But you're not allowed to use it.
Nope.
Because your husband's like, what? In what world are cars supposed to go in garages, babe?
Yeah, he says that people aren't supposed to park their cars in the garages. That's for tools and stuff. And it's a 2-car garage.
You know what I love about it? Because when we first moved into that house.
Every chance I get, I make jabs about the garage.
Yeah, but when you first moved into that house, you're like, the den is going to be my room. That's for me. It's for me to hang out in. All y'all go to your own goddamn spaces.
Yeah.
And you're like, the living room could be my husband's.
Yeah, so he'll leave me alone.
Yeah. So then he was like, oh, got this basement. It's real nice. Has a little bar in it. And he was like, I'm going to make that into my man cave. And you were like, no. you no, that's going to be my space.
Well, he's got the garage.
Well, but
I
think that's why he holds so heavily onto the garage. Is because then even in the living room, you won't let him put out his stuff.
Because it's ugly.
You're like, no, you can't put out your bears and your like.
He has them out in the basement over the fireplace.
But I think that's why he holds on to the garage like he does.
I don't think he thinks as deep as you think he does.
He's like, the living room's supposed to be mine. She won't let me put my shit in it. The basement was supposed to be my man cave, and she said, no, can't do that.
I never told him he could have the basement.
You're like, let me just make that clear. I was always clear.
I never told him he could have the basement. We said we would make it into like a family room and have, because the fireplace down there, there's a bar down there.
Yeah.
Put some TV down there and shit. And I'm like, you could put your ugly ass fake animal figurines up there in the basement where no one that comes in the house will fucking see them. And then he has that, you remember the ugly ass hideous tapestry?
Yeah.
Guess what I found hanging on the wall in the basement the other day?
Tapestry.
He hung up that goddamn tapestry.
He just wants a place to call his own.
He's got that big ass living room.
You won't let him put stuff out there.
No.
See?
Why does it, for him to have his own space, why does it have to be ugly?
Because that's his personality. Like, that's the
Wow,
stuff.
what?
That's the stuff that he likes.
It's ugly. Hey, I
remember when your mom walked into my house over at Fayetteville?
You
loved my curtains that I made myself. They were very hippie, very boho. Mm-hmm. And your mom was like, bless her heart, she doesn't even have good curtains.
Hey, I let him hang pictures of his son in the entryway.
that they're behind the door when someone comes in the front door.
When they close it, there's the piece of shit's pictures hanging right there.
But I think that's why he holds on to the garage. He's just like, fuck that. I need to put my foot down. I still think you should order one of those parking, like covered parking things, and just don't tell him. Let him come erect it, and be like, "Well, that's where I'm going to park my car."
I can't even.
Anyway,
Guess who has their motorcycle in the garage?
Yeah,
my son.
Mm-hmm.
So the men have all the shit they want in the garage, but I can't put a fucking car in the car garage. But every fucking thing else is out there.
or get it one of those Amish storage sheds, and I'll help you one day move everything into it. And then like they'll come home and like your car will just be in there. I'd help you.
No.
Anyway.
I would rather bitch and moan about it
and
make him miserable. Because you know I piss him off.
You're like that.
I know.
Yeah. You're like, there's an easy solution to my problems, but I would rather make everyone miserable.
Why should this house? The mortgage payment is $1,019 a month. It's a big, nice house.
Yeah.
Why should I have to pay more money to have a building outside so I can use the fucking car garage for my car?
Well, and I know that it would be easier. Oh, excuse me. Because, like, you guys have, like, almost like a circular driveway. Like, you drive in one side and out the other. But, like, no one can use it like that.
I'm going to tell him he can't park in the driveway anymore.
No one can use it like that because of all the cars that are parked on it instead of in the garage.
I'm going to tell him he has to park down by the road. In your parking spot.
Oh, yeah, the one he made for me and I won't park in it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell him he has to start using that one.
That's so funny. Anyway, that's it for this podcast. We're going to take a break and we're going to record the next one.
Now that I'm angry.
Yeah. Tune in next week for the final in our October series. We're going to talk about ghosts and hauntings in West Virginia. Remember, you can find us on the internet, featherandbone.net. There you'll have access to the Facebook group. You can join that if you want to.
You know, I wouldn't have to defrost my windshield.
Oh, Jesus. We're still on the fucking car. Okay.
I wouldn't have to, like, clean the snow off of it, because we get snow.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even have to start my car ahead of time to warm it up. It'd be in the garage. But no.
Yeah.
That would make fucking sense.
And you have to run out every day, like Monday through Friday, to take the offspring to school.
Yes.
And here soon, you're going to have to be going out to pick her up off the bus, because it'll be too bad for her to walk home after school. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Anyway.
Motherfucker.
Remember. It's magic, motherfuckers.